It's Wednesday, November 8th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today on the daily chart, the SPY ended up with another 2-up day. We took out the high the previous day, but we had a little choppiness in here, closed kind of red, but with a bit of a hammer, momentum hammer kind of look that in many cases follows through higher. We're kind of at exhaustion risk every day, 2 up, 2 up, 2 up, so there's no real actionable signal to the upside. We're very close to our target, this purple line. I've been talking about that for a while on the weekly chart here after the big green bar. We expect a little follow through higher, and we expect that target to be taken out. So that's still, the key target. And at that point, that's a key inflection point. You kind of expect a pause up there, and you find out whether that starts the rejection back down, or if it just pauses and can't do that, then maybe we're heading up to higher targets above. But we have to reach that one first. So right out of the gates, we were very close to it, but we didn't quite hit it. I might as well go to the 15-minute chart here, because this is the way I interpret it. In other words, between the blue lines is the pre-market range. First bar kind of paused here, and then we started up on bar number 2. Now, I wasn't really looking to buy that breakout today because, we're at exhaustion risk. I know we're very close to hitting the target. I know that target could be a key inflection point that might have a reversal if we hit it. It might fly right through it, but, just given the fact that it's exhaustion risk, and a big thing too, let me point this out, because sometimes you just look at this chart in a vacuum. I was looking at many charts at the same time as the market was opening, and I saw stocks like Tesla heading lower. I saw Meta heading lower on bar number 2. I saw Netflix kind of pausing and heading lower here. Nothing was breaking out to the upside. So it's not like I was excited to buy the SPY here out of the gates on this very, little breakout above bar number. It was just a quick few minutes here before it eventually reversed. If anything, I was thinking if it's going to hit this level, this is going to be a pause area where it might even fail and then get a pullback such as what developed here. So I was thinking to the short side, and I shot a video on the 5-minute chart. If we look at it in detail, on this little move up, like I said, I wasn't looking to buy that as a breakout because I knew we were very close to target. I knew other stocks weren't doing well. So I just wanted to watch it a little bit. And once I saw it break down here, I ended up buying puts, and I discussed that in a video, and it kind of reached our pre-market lows, had a flush down, and then of course it came all the way back up into the afternoon, which I'll get into in a second. But and this is the 5-minute chart. So if you did buy it here, let's just say you just felt for some reason it was going to be a strong momentum continuation breakout after all those up days in a row, then you almost have to get right out at the midpoint of the first bar. That's always my stop. So even if you're buying it right here, as soon as you see the shooter bar form, you're almost immediately out if you did that. I was looking to the short side, and then I discussed how, this was kind of a target. Then the question is, once you reach, this target area, this is the midpoint of the prior day. So you have the opportunity, once you kind of fail on the 2 up and hit the midpoint of the prior day, to come down and get a 3 bar to the, downside. Of course, that didn't develop. You were thinking that was a possibility. So once it came down here with a very nice morning trade on this first move, there was no even pullback. It wasn't a 1-2 push. It was just kind of a 1 pause, 1. Came down, got below the midpoint of the prior day, so you're thinking you have an opportunity here to take the outside day, to the downside, taking out the lows of yesterday. But what that would mean after this morning move down, you would look for a little orderly pullback and then a kind of a red 2 down bar, and that would give you, A, the target of the intraday low, and B, the target of the outside day to the downside, taking out yesterday's low. But the market rallied too strongly here, and there was no orderly pullback. So at that point, this was the only move of the day, and there was no secondary trade. It just never set up. So, that's why you kind of can see that it ends up with a little bit of a hammer bar here that can follow through finally to hit this target, and we'll see what unfolds from there should that happen. The actionable signal is still the 2 down, but that has the targets are very close here. So, even if you want to broaden lower, you'll have to see if you get follow through, let's say you get a 2 down. In other words, the target's right here and right here. So it's not like there's much room, but maybe you get a deeper pullback into some of these gaps should a 2 down develop. So you would still go with that, kind of see, if you hit those first targets, whether that leads to broadening action on a little bit of a higher time frame into these gaps or not. And again, the upward, maybe after a pause here, finally, I would play maybe a breakout move. If it develops tomorrow, I'd have to watch all the other stocks at the same time. You can see here all week long, we're just kind of going sideways here after that big green bar up. So, it could break out above that area. I still think that target should be hit, even though we didn't get it quite yet. But anyway, we'll see what happens tomorrow and Friday to end the week. But to me, again, this up move here, I was watching it and actually more interested in that 2 up failure that takes out the midpoint of that bar, that I suspected would take out that low and maybe work towards those pre-market lows, and that's exactly what happened. And that was really the best trade of the day. And again, a lot of that was determined because a lot of stocks really weren't following through to the upside here on this little 5-minute breakout that eventually failed. So anyway, good morning trade, no secondary trade, ends up with a bit of a hammer looking momentum bar that could follow through higher tomorrow towards at least that target, and then we see at that point whether we continue higher or not, or that maybe that's a failure that eventually gets a little more of a deeper pullback into this area. So and we do have the reference point, like I said, for a second here we were turning this weekly chart red on that little move down this morning, but eventually it's green. So any move that heads down, you got to get below that open to turn this weekly chart red to start getting a little bit of a pullback into that green bar. So we'll keep that as a reference point as well. That's kind of right here, the open of the week, right down here. So if things go lower tomorrow, definitely we can try a sell trade if it unfolds early in the session and kind of see maybe it becomes a deeper pullback. And given that we're pausing, I could see, I guess, trying a breakout trade to the upside as well, because, logically we are kind of in an upward move, and it has a little bit of, it's what's the word? It's kind of resting here and kind of taking out a little of that exhaustion, just going sideways, so that can build up a little energy to head higher too. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Today, again, just the sell kind of trade was the best opportunity on that one, morning trade down, and you had plenty of time to have a nice hit your target here, the pre-market lows, and even a little bit more if you wanted to kind of play it that way for a nice gain in the morning. So we'll see what develops tomorrow.